Okay, calm down.
You mentioned the CIA and Western Special Ops commandos in Ukraine. What are they doing
Well, we know this because of the
that
New
we
York
know of?
Times. So this is not just speculation. Clearly, what's happening is there's this kind of internal struggle in the Biden administration where there are some forces that want to continue to expand the war in Ukraine, and there are some who recognize that it's been contributing to the inflation crisis because the Western sanctions on Russia have led to an increase in energy prices, especially in Europe, because Europe, the largest exporter of oil and gas to Europe before this war, was Russia. So this is resulting in a lot of economic problems. So there are some people in the Biden administration who want to try to, draw back the war a bit, and there are some who are like, this is the moment. We need to keep sending in weapons. The Biden administration has already sent more than $50 billion of military support to Ukraine. And we also know, according to the New York Times, that the CIA is on the ground and US Special Operations Forces are on the ground. And this is very similar to the kind of mission creep that we've seen by US Special Ops commandos around the world, especially in Africa. People have probably heard of African Command, AFRICOM. The US allegedly, according to its own documents, and this is obtained by like Tom Dispatch, which is a good independent news website. They got these documents that show that on over 90% of the African continent, 90% of African countries, the US has special operations forces operating. And when the US has 800 military bases around the world, but as war has become kind of more unconventional and more hybrid war as opposed to old school, like, this army marches against this army, the US has been carrying out like a lot of low level wars using special operations forces. So like special ops commandos are the ones who killed Osama bin Laden, and they'll send them into these countries, these small teams. And the US has special ops forces on the ground in Ukraine who are allegedly, according to the New York Times, they are training Ukrainian forces, and apparently they're on the front lines, which basically means, that's as far as the US can go before just sending straight up troops to wage war on Russia. And there was this really good military veteran at Rolling Stone who wrote, he went to Ukraine. He's a US military veteran, and he went to Ukraine and he wrote a series of articles based on the foreign military personnel, not only from the US, but across Europe and in other countries that have gone to Ukraine as part of the foreign fighters. And he wrote in Rolling Stone that basically, in his military experience, that he sees this as close as the US can get to waging direct conventional war on Russia without physically having troops on the ground. Those are his words too. So it's a pretty scary situation. Now for the CIA, according to the media reports that we have, the CIA is training Ukrainian forces. It is also overseeing Ukrainian intelligence. So that's to say that basically all the intelligence that the Ukrainian military leadership and Zelensky get is from the CIA. They're running Ukrainian intelligence. And the CIA is apparently overseeing Ukrainian communication networks. So basically what's happening is that everything is being outsourced to the West. The US military is involved, not only with special operations forces, but the US military has a command center in Germany. And according to the New York Times, there are more than 20 countries' militaries who are involved in this command center, who are coordinating military support for Ukraine. So basically, every single factor of this war, every facet of the war is being waged by the US, except the troops, the physical grunts on the ground, who unfortunately, they're just like cannon fodder. It's really sad to see. Allegedly, around 16,000 Ukrainians have died, and that could be a conservative estimate. So basically, the US and to a lesser extent Europe is overseeing everything except the people on the ground. The US is sending the Ukrainian soldiers out. It's helping oversee the decisions that are made. The Pentagon is involved in decision making. And then it's, young Ukrainian men who are the ones being killed. So when people say that the West is trying to fight Russia to the last Ukrainian, unfortunately, that's not really hyperbolic.